All right, hello and welcome to Swing It and Ding It, an iHeartMedia podcast. Man, this is a birdie fest.
It's a Philly show, baby.
Philly
Let's
show.
go.
All right, welcome in to Swing It and Ding It as we continue our view of Hawaii as we freeze our you-know-whats off in Philadelphia. And
down here.
Puts a sweater on because it's 64 degrees. You know
it was
how it
48 this morning.
I saw that on the weather app, and I was thinking of you, Danielle. I'm like, well,
Thank
that's
you,
legitimately cold.
See, Moose, at least Harry cares about me.
Yeah, when she's going to the gym.
I'm just full of winter hate, sorry.
It was really cold this morning.
Harry Mays, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Is Hideki Matsuyama underrated?
Yes. In this country, he is.
Right.
I mean, over where he's from, he's a rock star, and rightly so. But in this country, he is, and I think a big part of that is because he chooses not to speak English to the fans in the United States. And I say he chooses not to because he's too darn smart to not know English. I know he knows it, and I know he can speak it, and he probably speaks it reasonably well. But my theory on that is that when these Japanese players, whether it's baseball or golf or whatever the sport, are successful in the United States, they have a throng of Japanese media that follow them everywhere they go. It follows them into the bathroom when he's taking a leak. I mean, it's unbelievable. They can't get away from it. So they have to deal with that on a everyday basis, and I think that it is exhausting. So now what he does is he puts up the I have a translator deal, and a lot of the United States English-speaking media doesn't want to deal with that. So it sort of protects him from having to do additional media. That's my theory on it. But I think he's fantastic. I loved watching him. I couldn't take my eyes off every shot on Saturday, Sunday. He's magnificent.
I don't know. I don't know of another player in the game that when they are on and locked in, that you're done. Like, think about him in the Masters. Like when he has his game and he has his putter too.
Yep.
Right, because he is a ball striking machine. But when he is putting, I mean, has no shot when this guy is on and wants to win. He breaks the PGA Tour record at 35 under. I mean, you look at some of these guys, like, even Sanjay, but obviously Colin Morikawa, like where they finished and losing that tournament. Danielle, it's like, what do we have to do?
Right. 12th player, Hideki, though, 12th player to complete the Hawaii career double. He won both the Sentry and Sony. So I thought that was pretty cool, too, when you were asking, if he's underrated, just kind of gives you a little bit more there. But I don't know, like with them going so low, did you guys lose any interest at all? Like I was watching, I'm like, okay, somebody's going to win at like 30. Like I wasn't super drawn in this week.
I really didn't, because that's what this tournament is. I mean, Cam Smith won it at 34 under a few years ago.
Everyone keeps setting a record there.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it's really low. But the thing, it was sort of like a match play thing to me. I was just watching those two guys. Poor Dietrich was just in the way. He's playing in that group because they went off in threesomes. He was out of it after the first 3 or 4 holes.
Yeah, but for him, like him, not
for him, because he knows I'm in the way here. Like I know I just got to putt out and get the hell out of here. But it was magnificent, like you said.
You're waiting for the mistake, though, Harry. The mistake just didn't come.
Yeah,
right.
And then he takes his hand off the club every time, and you're thinking, oh, here it comes. It's going to go left, and it does it. It's perfect.
It's so funny. So many players do that.
I know.
Especially like I've learned Brandon's kind of like finishes, and sometimes I'm like a lot of the guys it'll be like this, and you're like, oh my god, he hit it OB, and you're like, what? It's like left fairway. What?
Yeah.
If I'm doing that, I'm
perfectly in the center
drink,
of the face, and they know it.
Yeah.
Like they know, like I mishit that. Yeah, it went 310 yards and it's in the fairway.
So
Saturday he goes 11 under with 11 birdies.
Yeah.
I mean,
sounds like one of my rounds.
And he just looks so in control. He looks so calm. Right? He doesn't show much. He doesn't give you much. He must be a nightmare to play against, especially when you're like locked in and it feels like a match play scenario. You must be like, this guy's not giving me anything. Yeah. He's not breaking.
And if he actually doesn't speak English too, like how do you even make conversation? You know what I mean? So like you're there and you're like, great putt. Like what do you even say to him?
Well, that's another thing. Like, you're thinking, man, I'm playing with this guy, but I can't even talk to him because he needs a translator to talk to the media. So that's another way to shut everybody out and to sort of just stay in his zone. It's brilliant. I think I should
We
come
need
up.
to research this. I want to know if Harry's like right. Like if he actually is just like these stupid people, stupid Americans.
He's trolling all of us.
Well, in the interview, I did notice that he was asked the question, and before the translator translated it, he's saying to the translator what he wants to say.
Sure.
So he understands it.
Yeah. How about Sungjae? Shot 19 under on the weekend. That's usually enough to win a golf tournament. He did that in 2 days and didn't win.
Yeah. You had Sungjae at 29. You had Vegas in fourth at 25. Dietrich and Oberg at T5 at 24. And then Corey Connors, and I cashed in on that Hoagie T8. I had him in the top 10, if you remember.
Yeah.
At 600. So that was
he got off to a great start and hung in there, man. That was a nice win.
Ludwig, though, like just watching his swing, like I think that was my main focus this whole week, just how upright he stands. I'm just like, he's so tall, and that swing is just so different. You know what I mean?
That?
Ludwig.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't waste much motion at all. It's very.
He's so tall, and he stands straight up, so the swing is it's just different. I mean, it's sputter, it's so smooth, but it just looks different.
Well, what I like about him is he takes no time over the ball. He just gets up there and hits it. Like, I wish more guys were like that.
That's why he was good in the TGL. We'll talk about that in a little bit too. Yeah. But it's almost like watching that tournament, though. It looks fake sometimes. It's so scenic. And like, so you're watching, you're like, is that real? Like, how's that? I mean, I would love to see it. I know actually Greeny played that on his honeymoon.
Oh, yeah.
That course. But I mean, it looks like a serious walk for those guys.
It's one of the toughest all year.
Wow.
I mean, the different elevations that they were showing, like they say it's a different climate on some of the holes than the others, like different wind directions and temperatures, and insane piece of property.
There's over 500 feet of elevation change.
Wow.
On that course. Now that compared to this week where there's like 5 feet, it's flat, totally flat this weekend.
Yeah, I was going to say what I was thinking about, because I was at this upcoming course. I'm like, there wasn't anything. You get a little bit of a different breeze when you're on the ocean holes, but
but good stuff for Hideki. It's awesome to see that, and now they're talking about maybe making some changes, maybe changing a par 5. We'll see. 4. I mean, I like it because it's like, okay, that's the goal. Can you go lower there? Right? It's not like, oh, that course is too easy. It's like, no, let's see. Can you beat it? Right? Like, how low can you go?
Right. I wouldn't want to see them playing courses like this every weekend, but but once to start off the season, it's fine. The thing I don't like about it is that so many of the holes look alike, and sort of play the same way, where there's a collection area on the fairway where all the balls seem to go to, and you got to skirt the divots. Like that's kind of one of the pet peeves I have about it.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that for sure. All right, so the other golf that we got to watch, which to me was an incredibly pleasant surprise. The TGL kicks off, and I didn't know what to think. Right, I went into it like, it's a Tuesday in January. Let's give this a watch. It's an ESPN production. We talked about his SVP going to be out. He wasn't on site. Matt Barry was, and I got to tell you, I enjoyed it. Now, I don't know if I'm going to want to watch it all the time, but I was incredibly impressed at what they pulled off. I mean, first and foremost, the tech and what's involved with this place is there's nothing else like it in the world. I think it's going to put a lot of people on notice. I think people are probably thinking, like, where else can we put these things? And just to see the level of commitment that went into it, the setbacks they had, and to actually pull it off into something different, right? It was something completely different. And the guys looked like they were into it. They were rushing with the shot clock. The crowd was, I think it'd be very cool to see it in person. I don't know. Some of the stuff's a little weird, but I was impressed. I really was.
Yeah, I thought it was cool too. I mean, had been there previously. Like I said, like you saw them hitting from grass. They grow the grass outside. Like they did it right. They did it correct. Like Moose said, am I going to be interested in 4, 5, 6 weeks? We'll see. Maybe that's why Tiger and Rory didn't play. They're going to hold some of those players for later on. But I think debuting on the first night, a little bit past my bedtime. I didn't stay up for the whole thing. But seeing a couple of the shots, having Tiger up in the booth, seeing recap on social, the feedback, it looked like it was, pretty good feedback overall. The only negative thing, people were talking that it took 15 minutes to see the first shot. They were like, less pregame, but it's opening night. What are you just gonna turn it on and be like, boom, let's go? Like you need a little bit.
They had to explain what was about to happen first.
Did you see the undulation in the greens, like
that
all
was
of
cool.
those plates underneath it?
That was really
move
cool.
Up and down, like that's wild. And just seeing like when they're hitting their shots, see the turf come up. You know what I mean? It's not like you're just you're going to a local place where you're just hitting sim shots. Like it's actually like elevated.
And the giant. Seeing him take full swings into that giant screen is really cool. And I like how it was like made up holes, right? You're not watching.
Oh, you like that?
I did for them.
Because that's the question I had for you guys, whether you like the tricked up sort of fantasy kind of golf course versus like them playing maybe Congressional or someplace that we,
I could have gone either way. Honestly,
I think I liked it,
but I liked it.
It adds intrigue, right? Because like on that one hole I was watching, I'm like, what the heck is this bunker? Like, and then you can, unlike, B had already played because he did some testing there. And I was like, okay. I was like, do you go right? Do you go left? Like straight here? And, almost everybody, he's like, oh, they'll probably go right. Some people went straight, but I think it's cool having, different holes because it's going to hold your attention a little bit longer rather than watching them, like you said, play the same course that we've already seen on tour.
I'll tell you what, I think ESPN figured out the mic situation way better than TNT has for the match, right? Yeah. I mean, in TNT, it's a mess. You're trying to hear like banter and you hear a lot of people talking over each other. They did an incredible job of raising and lowering mics, especially when it was
the volume was a little higher though.
Yeah, I mean, well, and plus you're dealing with an arena there.
You have an
right?
arena of noise.
Oh, you have to cut out that other channel. Yeah.
But the 3-on-3 part was awesome. The alternate shot, because you don't see anything like that. I thought that was really cool to see those guys like strategize. They're going to the computer screen and seeing where they got to go.
But the thing that
they have ball boys that because the ball that you hit from the turf, you can't hit. You don't putt with because there has to be different technology for it. So you can putt with your actual like sponsor ball, but when you're hitting, on the sim, you can't use that same ball. So like there's, I was like, what is there? Bat boys? Like, what's going on?
It was like Kramer and Seinfeld at the U.S. Open tennis, right? But the thing that like ESPN didn't have to deal with that TNT has to deal with is those guys are always in carts zipping to the next shot, and that makes noise, and they're kind of distracted.
Didn't think about that.
The wind's blowing or whatever. But I thought ESPN did a really nice job. I wished Van Pelt was there. And I knew he wasn't going to be there because he was on in the morning. On Gary Williams' new show, and he was in D.C., which is where he does his nightly ESPN show. But then I found out he had never been there.
Right.
The guy leading your broadcast hasn't ever been on a site visit. That's bizarre.
Get him there hitting some shots, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Knowing that technology, seeing the space, understanding, like.
But Harry, DJ Khaled was there though.
Oh, so, gosh.
Yeah, I know you're happy about
another one.
I know you were happy about that.
Oh my God!
But I tell you what, like the face of golf.
Like watching Tiger, like he just looks so proud. Like he just like he was beaming. He was like I can't believe like this weird concept actually came true and like it's happening right now.
Had to wait a year. Yeah.
It with the like I said, the setbacks they had.
Yeah.
It was cool. I mean, Ludwig is a stud. Like,
he is.
I mean, did he miss a putt last night?
No, I mean he was the star of the night for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I think it's cool seeing the team camaraderie too, because like that's what we're kind of talking about with like Liv, but like seeing them like high five, seeing Xander get like annoyed, like just watching, the other teams against each other and then the camaraderie between like the teams,
because Liv, like they're on teams, but they're playing all different holes. They're not anywhere near each other, right? They're all playing single games. Where these guys are hanging around and messing with each other. And I think Tiger said it. He's like, I'm not giving anybody putts. How can you? You don't know these people don't know these surfaces. You can easily miss a 2-footer on these weird surfaces they never putted on before. So it's interesting to see some of that stuff too.
Wait, I do have to. What Ricky? Did he decide to stop cutting his hair and he had the glasses on? I'm like,
I kind of like the look.
He had a look going on. That was his.
I kind of liked it.
That was TGL. He has a TGL look.
Yeah, it's a TGL look. Yeah.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, but it would have been nice if Team New York would have shown up. I mean, this is like typical New York football here, the way those guys played. That was a beatdown. That's one thing that kind of made me lose interest. It wasn't competitive.
I sent out a tweet that said they were going to let Saquon test free agency, the New York team.
Yeah, right. Well, that's what I said. I pulled up the Twitter. I got to commend you, Moose, because you were on fire last night. It says here, I don't feel comfortable watching Ludwig while my wife is at home. That was hilarious, actually.
Yeah.
He's not bad to look at.
Quoting Trevor Immelman, who said Oberg is a mixture of Bjorn Borg and Roger Federer. And let's see, here's another one. Word is New York City Golf Club is going to let Saquon test free agency. That was pretty good.
Thank you. Thanks, yeah. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's why we do it. So yeah, what's the buzz down there in Jupiter in the area, Danielle?
Honestly, I've seen. Well, I went on like just my stories on Insta, and I was going through them, and I was like, wow. I was like 6 or 7 of my friends went, and they purchased tickets, like bought tickets and went. Like,
it looked like a cool fun place to be.
Opening night, you know what I mean? Yeah. I saw a bunch of my friends were there. I saw Chris Como was there, obviously with Xander and stuff, but it looked like pretty good attendance. I haven't talked to anybody in person, obviously.
Think about it. You could sit in your seat and see the best players in the world take every shot, right? If you go to a golf event, you have to either walk with them or you're stationed up on the green and you're watching approach shots and putts. You're sitting in your seat and you're watching these guys hit every shot on the course. It's pretty cool.
And I'm telling you, there's not a bad seat in the house. They have like down like where the benches are behind, there's some suites, but like the way the arena is shaped and tiered, like it's not like, you can't see what's going on, and the screens are large enough that even if there was, a 7-foot guy in front of you, you could still see around him and see what's going on.
Now, who was the guy sitting with Rory and Tiger?
He's the money guy. I think he's the third guy of the investment team. Yeah, I forget. They did say his name, but
they did. Because I missed it. Okay.
I think it was Tiger, Rory, and him, but they only mentioned Tiger and Rory, obviously. But yeah, I think he was the I don't know what else he owns, but I think he's also a finance guy. But
one thing I thought would have been a little cooler, because they were all wearing their own sponsors and everything else, like that. They were all wearing like the light green, and then like Xander's team was wearing like the navy. But I was like, wait, where's like the Jupiter
the
hats?
logo
like,
stuff?
Yeah, because I remember Charlie wearing it in the the PNC, and
right.
They do have some. I mean, I know what Jupiter's logo looks like in the Boston one. I don't know what some of the others look like, but I kind of wanted to see that happening. But I guess when you have sponsor obligations, what are you going to do?
That was another thing Moose pointed out on the Twitter feed, is like they kind of missed an opportunity, right, to promote the merch.
Yeah, that is tough. I mean, maybe
even like why couldn't you put that logo? Throw that
along
logo
with your other logos
on your back or something,
shirt. Right? Yeah.
You just put it on the back of the jersey. You know what I mean? You can still wear your other stuff, but just throw it on your back. Yeah, they probably have to figure that out, because there's definitely some, some elements, or these guys are just saying, no, you got to pay me more because you know what I mean. Their current sponsors are probably.
What do they get paid for this?
I was wondering.
I'm
not sure. I was like, well, we were watching last night. I'm like, what do they get paid? Like if the team wins, do they get paid an appearance fee? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they ever laid that out. ESPN's carrying it, so
yeah, a bunch of those guys had to fly in from Hawaii, the day before to do. That's a lot, kind of exhausting. That's probably why Schauffele had nothing. He had nothing last night.
No, he was there to hang out. He looked like he wanted to just grab a beer.
He looked like he was drinking. I think he might have been drinking.
But in Rome, wait, what do you guys think about the hammer? Did we like the hammer? Do we not like the hammer?
They didn't explain it that well.
They didn't really explain it, but
throwing the hammer makes supposedly you're supposed to like put pressure on the opposite team. So if you throw the hammer, it is. Mm-hmm. It makes the hole worth 2 points rather than 1. So if I think Harry's going to miss a 6-footer, I'm going to throw the hammer so that my team might go up 1. And that's what they did when Ludwig made that putt. They threw the hammer down and he drained it and was like,
And JT was tweeting in something about the hammer, and they threw it up on the screen. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought Matt Barry did a nice job.
He did. And what's funny? There were a lot of tweets and posts about like they weren't showing the stats, and then all of a sudden they started showing them. But it was moving so quick. It was hard. Like they would put a banner at the bottom that would have like spin rate and distance and everything. But they weren't really showing it in real time as the ball was flying. It would have been cool to see that, like how far it went. Like, but then they did start doing it. I think maybe they realized they weren't showing it, but I mean,
what about
kudos to them
crowd?
for pulling this off.
Oh yeah, and the crowd too. Like, well, there was like the chants of like the basic like Xander Schauffele, but then like the fake shot clock of people like
5, 4.
And then what was the other? Oh, like just booing the players for like laying up and stuff like that. Like I thought that was pretty funny. Like if a player laid up, they were like boo, you know what I mean? Like still heckling.
Now
I
think
it's the dad that drank one too many Miller, $15 Miller Lights.
I think I missed this because my buddy's texting me this heartbeat thing. And I fell asleep and woke up the next day. I'm like, what do you mean the heartbeat? Because with 15 seconds left, they start giving the player's heart rate.
It's on the whoop. You hear it. You hear it in the arena.
Okay.
Boom, boom. They showed.
Is it their actual heart rate or
no?
So that'd be much cooler.
The clock starts at 35. It's white, 35, 34, and then when it gets 15, it starts blinking red and making the boom, 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 boom sound.
I missed that.
So if
it was their actual like BPM, that would be like really cool if they like get whooped to somehow like do that. But if it's just like a general one, it's like okay.
Yeah. Well, all right, TGL, I see you. You'd launch something pretty cool.
Tiger's next week too.
Yeah.
Oh, is he playing next week?
Yeah, he's next week. Yeah.
Yeah. Now there's 4 guys on the roster. I wonder how they figure out like who's out.
Well, I heard that being asked of one of the guys on the Bay Area team, and of course it was Minwoo who was out. And apparently Minwoo had a previous obligation, so he couldn't be there kind of thing. And that's sort of, it wasn't no disrespect to him. Like, you're not playing very well right now, we're going to bench you. It had nothing to do with that. Yeah. Apparently.
Who's available.
Yeah, that's what they said. They literally said, like, in case there's like travel issues or whatever, like they always want to try to get, 4 there if possible. I think is it 5 and then 4 have to come or something like that, and 3 play, something along those lines.
I think the teams are 4 and then 3 play. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I'm picking Team Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I had to figure out
Team
Jupe. Pick.
I got Team Jupe.
Well, see, I knew you would do that because you are from Jupiter, so you have a.
I'm not from
team.
Jupiter. Well, correction.
No, just
it's
say
a Philly show, baby.
Jupiter's way cooler than Philadelphia. All right, Philadelphia blows. Okay, I'd move out of here in 5 minutes if I had the opportunity.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
But I'm taking
what
Team
you're waiting
LA.
for. What you're waiting for.
All right, so I got Jupe. You got who?
A company has to sell one more time, and then I can go, okay?
Come on down.
Team LA. Rosie.
LA, okay.
Fleetwood, Morikawa, and Tigala. I like all 4 of those guys.
Yeah, you were going to go Boston, but then you realized that
Rory's on it. Because I love Keegan and I love
I feel
Hideki
like just big for
and Adam
Philly.
Scott.
Any Boston team, I just don't.
See, I don't care about Philadelphia. I don't care about any of those allegiances. None. I'm not on sports radio anymore.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
All this pent up years of aggression from Philly sports
having
radio
to deal
coming
with all this
out
crap.
Here.
That's right.
Yes.
It's coming out.
Let's go.
All right, Moose, who's your squad?
The moving vans
don't
in the
Boston.
driveway.
Don't say Boston.
I might stay with the Bay. I might take the front runners. I might hang with my boy Ludwig.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
I could see that.
All right, we're all affiliated now.
I like
Lowry's
Lowry.
on there.
I like Shane.
Lowry.
Yeah.
A producer can have Boston. That's fine.
How about Lowry forgetting to put it to the T?
He was so nervous. Yeah.
Yep. So great.
Yep. All right, I'll tell you what. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back. See if Danielle has any more tea to spill, and we'll take a look at the Sony Open. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Swing It and Ding It. Let's continue with some tea down in the Jupiter. Speaking of the Jupiter links, the Jupiter area, what's the tea coming out of that area, dear?
Maybe not so much this area. We can go to the other side of the state, Tampa-ish area where Nelly Corda lives. She was on the 5 Clubs episode, which is Gary Williams' new show on Golf Channel.
It's great.
Debuted this week. Yeah, I was actually impressed. We were kind of talking about Golf Channel last week, and I was like, we'll see. But I really enjoyed it. But she was
Glad
on the
to have
episode.
Gary back on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
he's good.
For sure. But Nelly was on the 5 Clubs episode. She talked about, they asked her about technology, and she's like, all right, I got a quad, I got a TrackMan, I got all the technology. She's like, but it kind of lives in the garage. It's just, on display all pretty. Yeah. She's like, no. She's like, I learned the game playing feel. She's like, it's just how I play. Like, I'm all about feel. And so to get so, caught up in the technology and paying attention to all these numbers, it takes away from how I learn the game, how I know how to play, and it takes away my feels. So I thought that was kind of interesting to point out. Maybe some of our listeners can relate with that. Like, it's so easy to get caught up in all that tech and be like, okay, how far am I doing this? What am, what's this, that, the other thing? And it's like, just kind of, stick to your feels. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, like my spin rate is off. It's like, dude, you couldn't hit a fairway if your life depended on it and you're worried about your spin rate.
Spin rate.
Right. Yeah. My smash factor dropped on that last shot.
Dude, you just hit a house.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like, let's worry about this.
Yeah, let's reel it in.
I love that answer. That was a good interview, and I that stood out to me too, Danielle.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
She's great.
She really is.
She's great. Yeah.
Yeah, and for the number one, woman player to be saying that, like, take some notes. Let's not get so caught up. So this morning, players, caddies, and officials met on the beach for a celebration of life for Grayson Murray near hole 16 at YLA. They were throwing some flowers into the ocean, had a moment of silence and a celebration. So that was a nice little moment, keeping his legacy alive and, kind of paying homage to his family and things of that nature. So thought that was kind of nice. Saw that circulating around social. Tom McKibben was targeted by Live Golf. Reports have surfaced that the 22-year-old Northern Irish golfer, he's a 22-year-old Northern Irish golfer. Yeah. Oh, Tom McKibben. He's a protege of Rory, which Harry loves.
Oh, terrific.
But he was approached by John Rahm to join Liv shortly after securing his PGA Tour card. So he shares his home club with Rory, and he's rumored to be a prime candidate for Rahm's Legion team. So we shall see what's going on in that. I actually feel a little bit out of the loop with Liv. I don't know, maybe you guys can provide a little more context. Like, I know they did like their Q school and everything else, but then I saw on the Range
Goats schedule came out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw their schedule dropped, and then I saw Range Goats had like, is Bubba out, or did they? Because who was it that just joined the Range Goats team?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I probably should have looked that up before. I saw it on social yesterday, but I couldn't remember. But yeah, I think there's some changes going on there and restructure. So we'll see what's going on with those teams. Yeah, not too much other tea that I have, really. That's kind of just a short synopsis of this week.
Well, did you see where Trevor Immelman is now the chairman of the official World Golf Rankings?
I didn't see that.
In addition to his duties with CBS.
Wow.
So he's going to be taking over, and apparently there's going to be some changes that he's going to enact to sort of make, because the World Golf Rankings are out of whack. I mean, they're not correct, or they're not even near correct, especially with the whole live defection thing, and the fact that they only give certain amount of points for some of these tournaments. I think he's going to do a job to try to balance it out a little bit and make it more equitable. So
what would you like to see, though, Hera? Like, do you think the points should be determined after we see who's in the field, or do you think it is something that can be predetermined? Like, how do you actually make it really fair?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not that smart. That's why they put Trevor Immelman in there. They didn't ask me, but no. But all I can tell you is when I look at these World Golf Rankings, and I look at a guy that hasn't even won, a major yet, and he's ranked in the top 6 or something in the world. I'm like, you're crazy. There's no way.
Because I know some of those like off-week tournaments, like when there's an elevated one, they have those tournaments on like, Puerto Rico or the DR,
and those
or whatever.
Guys don't get anything really.
They get like minimal points. So it's like you're still winning, and it's like you're trying to do work to get ahead, and it's like it's just interesting. I didn't see that, but I'm interested to see how that does get rearranged and what that new point structure would look like. I almost feel like it should be after you see the field and then determine how many of the
top ranked players,
and then how much weight that respective tournament should hold. But you know what, Hera? They didn't ask me either.
They didn't ask me. But there was no word on whether Liv will start getting world ranking points, and I know that's what everybody wants to know.
Yeah.
I mean,
but with
it's team golf, like you can't
with 3 rounds.
Nah, and I don't see that. I think they, still like go and play the other events, like a lot of them do, to try to, have enough points to play in the majors over here. It's like, you made that decision knowing.
because like, if the Ryder Cup, if you're depending on the President's Cup, you can't tell me that Bryson DeChambeau shouldn't have been on this team, right? So there needs to be a way to figure that out.
But he could have been a captain's pick, though. Like,
yeah, apparently he's going to be on this.
I think that came down to politics. Actually, I don't think it came down to a world golf ranking. I think it was more
apparently
politics.
Keegan
But
is.
Do you
very
think he
open
shouldn't
to
have been higher in the world rankings than Brian Harmon? Like,
yes.
Like there needs to be common sense.
Yeah, but you know what? There also has to be accountability. You decided to leave and this tour, so now you go and play live. That's only 3 rounds and it's team golf. Like you gotta, you know what I mean? You decided to leave.
Yeah, there's got to be a scale though, right? It's not PGA Tour rankings; it's world golf rankings, right? So to me, there should be a scale, right? It should be all right. Maybe you're not going to get full points.
European though, you get points. Like the European Tour gets points. It's not just PGA Tour,
right? But so should live.
But it's because it's only 3 rounds, no cut, and it's team golf, and it's team golf. It's not individual.
But scale it, right? If a full tour you would get 500 points, then maybe if you win this, you get 250 points. But at least you're getting points, showing that you deserve something. Yeah, for your performance.
Well, maybe that's a possibility.
It's got to be a scale.
But you're still, I think it has to be I mean, if there is a scale, it'd have to be a small portion because it is only 3 rounds. It is primarily team golf, and it's not, But even then, Brian Harmon could still rank higher than Bryson DeChambeau if Bryson's only playing those. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's going to be tough if these guys aren't playing the full golf as it should be played with 4 rounds. A cut after 2 rounds.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, since you brought it up, where is DeChambeau's 10th, and where is the next guy? Tyrrell Hatton, I think, would be the next player on Live, and he's currently 16th.
I mean, it's still pretty high rankings.
It is, but they're going down. I mean,
right. Like
John Rahm is 26th. Right. He used to be 3rd.
Right.
He used to be number 1, actually.
Right.
Now he's 26th.
Yeah.
So,
but then also, like, it's tough because then those guys have X amount of tournaments that they're auto in, and the rest of the tour has to like qualify. So good luck, Trevor.
yeah, right. And
Hope they're paying you.
Brian Harmon's 30th, and he stinks right now.
Yeah.
So
see,
I think I still saw him on the Ryder Cup list.
Did you?
Yeah. I'm like, come on, no.
He was like over par after 2 or 3 days at Kapalua. I got your shit. Maybe it was 30 under par. Come on, bro.
Jeez.
Seriously.
How
about to me, the biggest story is the potential PGA Tour playoff change.
Yes.
Right? So
for the Tour Championship.
The Tour Championship. Yeah. They're talking about like this year potentially.
Yep. And that tournament needs a shot in the arm too.
It does.
It's boring.
It certainly does.
So what are the proposed changes?
Bracket style.
Brackets,
where
play.
Guys go against each other in stroke play or match play. They still haven't figured that out yet. But
the way that they would reward the guys who were higher is they would get a bye.
Right. I love that.
Right.
I love that. I used to love amateur golf, like watch like the USAM, like stroke play. That's one of my favorite formats of golf.
I heard mostly players for it, but then you hear like Justin Rose, who was like not really for it. He's like, we don't play that format all year. Then you're going to get to the end and you're going to change the format you're playing. It's like, well, I mean, a lot of sports, well, not really. Some sports change a little bit. But
actually, that's a great point. Like, see, but that's the thing. Like, we're not those players. So the players are going to have different thoughts as where us, the viewer, just wants to be entertained. And I'm like, match play. Like, that's awesome. Like, let me see.
Well, that's why they need to go back to having 2 trophies like they had in the past, right? There was the FedEx Cup winner and the
But I like that match play tournament they play in Texas, in Austin, that Dell match play. Oh, that was awesome.
And I think and it's a different style of golf. So it's like a new, player in that, realm, somebody who has ice in their veins and can just go and be like, okay, it's me versus you. Like, let's go. Some guys thrive on that style of golf rather than just like the traditional like style of golf. So,
but they're also talking about making it stroke play. Because, like, let's say some guy wins 10-9 or 10-8 or whatever. Well, that match is over in a lot less time. At least this would give 18 holes, and it's a stroke play, just me against Moose or Moose against Dan. You know what I mean? Like, I could see that too. Stroke play.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay on top of that and see how.
Yeah, especially because they're saying possibly this year, right? They're like,
which is wild.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Not even like
season.
giving like that, giving the guys like a moment to like figure out what's going on. But I guess with everything that's going on in the world of golf, look
yeah, why not?
Literally, it's not like we never have anything to talk about. Like even the off season, there was stuff going on. But we have
think
like
about
Liv,
when we started this podcast.
We
started the podcast. It was PGA Tour events. You're talking about who's playing.
Corn Ferry, like that was like, well, I was able to like talk about Corn Ferry because that was it. It was like, we had like the farm leagues leading up to the tour, and now it's
we got people sitting into 60-foot screens. We got range goats. We got all kinds of stuff going on.
Oh my goodness.
It's crazy out there.
It is. But yeah, instead of giving
heads are falling off.
Instead of giving Scotty like 10 under par to start with, he gets a bye. Right. Or 2 buys, whatever.
So he still gets a reward for getting there.
I like that.
Yeah. And you know what? At the end of the day, you're never going to make everybody happy.
No.
So.
Just make me happy.
Yeah. Well, I'd be happy if I were looking at those beautiful palm trees behind you, Harry, in Hawaii this week. I'll tell you that much. Because, you go from one beautiful golf course to the next. And for the Sony Open, the first full event of 2025, 144 players. You got 2 in the top 10 with Hideki going right back at it, and Tom Kim. Hideki won here in 2022, by the way.
Yep.
So, and there was a tribute for Grayson Murray that there was I was happy there wasn't too much posted about it. Just a little bit to show it happened, but it seemed like a very, private event for the players and the families. Yeah. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of emotions going on this week, and we're going to see a lot of that in the broadcast for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Remember when Hideki blistered that 3-wood on 18 into the green and ended up winning the tournament right into the sun. But YLA Country Club, 1927 Seth Rayner design, one of the grandfathers of golf course architecture. Par 70, 7,100 yards. They flipped the 9s for this tournament compared to what the members play, just so they can finish along the ocean. You can have the view behind me on the 16th hole.
My favorite.
It's instead of the 7th hole. So it's a smart idea. But man, you get a Barrett's green here. You get a Redan green that in the par 3s with classic design notes from Seth Rayner. Only there's 4 par 3s, 4, 7, 11, and 17. 2 par 5s, 9 and 18. It's at sea level, so it's super flat, small greens, smaller greens than last week. Narrow fairways and dog legs. It's a total reversal of what the players faced last week. A great finish with the Redan green par 3, 17, and then the long dog leg risk-reward par 5 on 18. It's produced some great drama over the years. Accuracy over length at this golf course, a shot maker's course. Average green size is 7,000 square feet, but I think some of those, a few of those greens exaggerate that. 83 sand bunkers, only 4 water hazards, and only 5 holes where water is in play. It's a great tournament. You got to hit great irons, and sort of plot your way around this golf course. It's not a bomber's paradise for sure.
And that's the course, of course, brought to you by the Penn Club on 2nd.
I was over there today.
Were you?
Really?
Yeah.
Great day to be over there. I need to get over there soon.
Yeah, it was great. 72 degrees in there.
We had a Powers and I had a little call at the PGA, and got to take. I don't know if it's public yet. The routing for the Truist has that been out?
Yeah,
has that been out there?
I don't know that they've told everybody what it's going to be, but it's not the traditional routing. The 18th hole is not going to be the 18th hole.
We have the course map. It's pretty interesting, and really looking forward to seeing that. But back to Hawaii for now. You got 12 of the past 14 winners had a T8 or better in one of the last 4 starts prior to playing here. And 9 of the 13 winners played the Sentry the week prior. You have guys like Corey Connors, who are really short odds. Hideki's at plus 900. Corey Connors, 1,400. Tom Kim, 2,000. And my pick and my one and done, Russell Henley, at 2,000. Winner here. Actually, no, second place in 22.
Yeah, he won here a long time ago.
2014.
Yeah.
He won. But Connors, too. Connor has a third place in 19 and a T11 in 22. So you get why he's up there. Sure. Obviously, we talked about Grayson last year was the winner. Siwoo in 23, Hideki in 22. So what are you thinking, Harry?
Well, how about old Keegan Bradley? He was second here last year, playing some good golf, won the BMW. As a motivated player, I think he wants to be. I think he wants to have to make the decision to play on the Ryder Cup team and be a captain. Keegan Bradley, I'll take him at what do we got? 2,500 to win.
Yep.
And I'm also going to take that amateur guy out of Florida State named Luke Clanton, who's had about 6 or 7 starts thus far on the PGA Tour, and he's played lights out. I'm going to go top 10 with Luke at plus 280, I believe he is. And you mentioned Connors and Henley. Those are 2 great options for a one and done. I haven't decided on that yet, but ours swing it and ding it one and done pool tees off tomorrow, and Powers is in the field.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And so's Brace, who was in the top 5.
I wonder how many weeks he'll submit a pick.
That's what
over
I'm
and
saying.
under.
He's got another year to see if he can submit picks.
We're going to set odds on that. We'll set odds on that. Over and under weeks. It's like a donation. It's nice. He makes a donation. He's big into charity work, so he does a nice donation there.
Yeah. We'll make it a thing.
How about I got a little bit of a mid shot. We won't call it a long shot, but give me Daniel Berger at 4,500 to win this
him in
thing.
the field. Yeah.
To win it.
Yeah.
Talk about a motivated player.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. At that number.
He played with Nelly, right? That was the last we saw him. How'd they play?
He had been playing really well. He had a couple, I think he had a top 10 or top 15 finish the week prior to that. So, yeah, he's definitely starting to get back on track.
You know, also have Tigala in there at a juicy number, and Eckroat, a 2-time winner and friend of the show.
Yeah, other guys too, like Eric Cole, who was a top 5, top 10 machine. You can get him at 1,200 and 550 respectively for those numbers. So, interesting. Like something like Sepp Straka, right? He was on a run for a while and then cooled off. So tournaments like this, sometimes these guys pop back up. But I like Berger and I like Henley this week for sure.
Yep. JT Poston too, 3,500. He won in the fall.
Postman.
Yeah, Postman. So it'd be a good field, a pretty good field.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, well, we'll be back next week to talk about Tiger Woods playing in the TGL. We get to see Tiger Woods hit some golf shots, so that's always fun.
Absolutely, yeah.
And things continue now. The West Coast swing could be a little bit interesting with what's going on out in California.
That's terrible.
That fire is near Riviera.
Very close.
Not far.
Not good.
Yeah.
Not good at all. So hopefully
apparently there's no water in the fire hydrants.
No, it doesn't look good out there.
Restrictions on showering and everything. It's wild.
Yeah.
It was so funny. Like Kylie Jenner did like a tour of her house the one time and was like, everyone, like, look at my house, this, that. And she went in the shower and she turned on the water and it was like drizzling. And people were like, oh, she has this, multi-million-dollar house and she can't have, her water pressure blows. And then everyone's like, no, California has a water restriction. That's wild,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And one more thing before we go. Scotty Scheffler withdrew from the Amex in Palm Springs. So
see you in Pebble, right?
Looks like Pebble Beach will be the first one. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been pretty quiet too. Yeah, he still has that injury he's dealing with his hand. So I wonder if it was a little more serious than they let on. But I haven't heard much about it. He's a pretty private guy, so I guess you probably will not. But we'll keep you posted. And when we talk next week, we'll find out what these guys in TGL are making.
Oh yeah,
that's our assignment. We got to dig in and figure that out. All right, we'll be back next week. Thanks for listening.